What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about everything that the Portland Trail Blazers need to fix this upcoming offseason. Everything from specific areas of the floor, specific things on the court, and specific positions. We're going to start off talking about the roster holes that the Portland Trail Blazers have right now. In my opinion, they have potentially 5 of their top 6 guys with Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Jusuf Nurkic, and Shaedon Sharpe. That is, of course, a point guard, a shooting guard. Sharpe is probably a 6th man next year, but he could end up starting. Grant being a power forward and Nurkic being a center. Of course, these guys can reshuffle. If Anthony Simons gets traded, then Shaedon Sharpe becomes a starter. But basically, you're probably looking at 4 rotation spots for the Portland Trail Blazers to fill. One of them being the starting small forward spot. If they trade Anthony Simons for that type of guy, then Shaedon Sharpe probably gets to start at the starting shooting guard spot, and then whoever Simons got traded for is the starting small forward, and then you'd have 4 bench spots to fill. So you got starting small forward, and then you got basically every spot off the bench, in my opinion, from a backup shooting guard to a backup power forward to a backup center. So 4 rotation spots for the Blazers to fill this offseason. And as far as specific things that the Blazers should be looking at in order to fill, one of the biggest problems with the Blazers last season was the amount of shots they gave up at the rim. They gave up the most shots in the league at the rim in the entire NBA. And this isn't due to the interior defense. This isn't the interior defense being bad. This is the perimeter defense breaking down and allowing guys to get to the rim at will. So the Blazers need to find guys that are able to contain dribble penetration. That is maybe the number one thing they need to look for defensively. Of course, we can also call that point of attack defense or a point of attack defender. That is something the Blazers absolutely need to be looking at this offseason. The Blazers also ranked second to last in the NBA in terms of opponent three-point percentage. So not only were the Blazers letting people get to the rim, they were also letting people hit threes at a really high clip. If you allow both those things to happen, it's going to be very problematic for a defense. So guys that can close out, run their defenders off the three-point line, and then not give up drives in those scenarios will be very, very valuable for the Blazers. It's hard to find a defender that is good at both running guys off the three-point line and then also staying in front of guys. I feel like more often or not, you'll find somebody that's maybe a little bit aggressive and won't give up open three-point looks, but might get beat off the dribble due to their aggressiveness, or you might find somebody who's a little bit more conservative and might give up an open three because they close out a little bit short, but they do a good job containing dribble penetration. So finding defenders that can both defend the three-point line and contain dribble penetration will be huge for this Blazers team on the defensive end, in my opinion. Offensively, the Blazers didn't shoot good at the rim. They ranked 22nd, and they didn't shoot good from the mid-range at 24th. Now, these numbers will look a little bit worse because of the late season tanking that went on for this Blazer team. But finding guys that can get to the rim and then finish there, I think will be huge for this offense. And then rebounding-wise, this team ranked 25th on the defensive glass, and they ranked 24th on the offensive glass. So this was not a good rebounding team. Jeremy Grant, being the starting power forward, is obviously going to play a big part in that. He's not a good rebounding power forward, and losing Josh Hart at the trade deadline made things even worse. He was kind of the guy single-handedly holding this rebounding together outside of Jusuf Nurkic. So rebounding is going to be a key. I talked about Drew Eubanks and Trendon Watford in their player reviews. If you haven't watched those, definitely go check them out. I will have a link in the description box below. But both Watford and Eubanks struggled keeping opposing big men off the offensive glass. They struggled rebounding the ball. They were really rough. So getting a backup center behind Jusuf Nurkic or behind, I don't know, a Joel Embiid if the Blazers have a miracle offseason or something, having a backup center that can just come in and rebound would be huge for this team. Maybe that's somebody like an Andre Drummond who's a really good rebounder, and that's basically the only thing he does well right now, but that would be an upgrade over what the Blazers had off the bench because they really struggled rebounding-wise, especially with Jusuf Nurkic out the game. But then in any wing target the Blazers look at, if it's not a true legitimate all-star, if the Blazers are looking at role players to come off the bench and play the backup 4 or the backup 3, the Blazers should prioritize those guys being good rebounders in order for this team to at least be average in terms of rebounding the ball. When you can't force misses, but when you do, you can't collect the rebound, you pretty much have no chance of being a good NBA team. So the two things the Blazers need to prioritize are rebounding and defense. Getting guys that can do both of those things, as well as hopefully shoot the three ball, will be huge in terms of a role player. That's why I like Josh Hart so much. Obviously, he had his shooting troubles in Portland, but he could rebound the ball. He was a solid defender, could get through screens, could compete against some of the best players in the league on the perimeter defensively. The only problem was he just didn't really shoot the ball too well, so that's why he wasn't a seamless fit in the starting lineup. It's also why I'm not a huge fan of Cam Reddish. He's not a good rebounder. I don't think he's a good perimeter defender. He doesn't get to the rim a lot, so the Blazers need to look at specific traits in role players, because if they can shore up these areas, then they probably would have been a playoff team last offseason. So anyway, let me know if I missed anything that this Blazers team needs to improve on this offseason. I'm really curious to read your thoughts down in that comment section below. I'll be trying to catch up on videos here in the next couple days. I know I'm a little bit behind. Anyway, that's a wrap for this video. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to reading your thoughts in that comment section, and I'm out of here. I'll catch you next time. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.